to all of you. I'm very happy to join you here. I believe GPPAC has done a wonderful job in getting you together and engaging all of you in discussing the issues which are primary in our mind as we observe the 11th anniversary. And I'm very happy to see some of you who were here together during the 10th anniversary, which was a very charged event. We were all enthusiastic, but we were reminding us at the same time that we have to see whether the energy and enthusiasm of the 10th anniversary is maintained during the 11th and subsequently. So this is a big challenge. Anniversary-oriented enthusiasm is good, but at the same time we should know that this kind of work that needs to go into 1325 is a laborious, painstaking, determined effort. And more so when we face the invisible walls against women in our societies. That is the biggest challenge. Now a fashion I have found these days that there's a lot of talk about women's equality, women's empowerment, and then when it comes to nitty-gritty, when you need to really put your words into action, then you find a lot of hesitation, a lot of bypassing, a lot of sidetracking, a lot of marginalization, and that is the challenge that we need to encounter. The fact that the value and the essential importance of 1325 is coming to our recognition, the world's recognition slowly. People have started asking, what is this? I mean, this is a wonderful thing to note that the Nobel Peace Prize citation this year mentioned 1325. This is the only resolution or decision of the United Nations that has been quoted in Nobel Peace Prize citation. So this is a unique thing for us. We need to cash on this profile that we have got, not only because of this citation, but because also of the recognition of these three women who had shown how their nonviolent struggle can get us to a point of building peace, making peace, and promoting peace in every way. So that is a very important thing. And as Sharon has said, that women's resources, women's abilities, and women's capacities are so enormous, so varied, and so determined, if I can say, in their quiet way, that it really opens up many doors. It breaks down many barriers. So that kind of resource we world need to utilize. We need to understand that 50% of our world population remains on the side. How best to harness their abilities, their capacities to really make a breakthrough in our efforts to attain a sustainable peace. It has been 66 years since the establishment of the UN. We have been talking about peace. Peace is the core agenda of the United Nations. But where are we? We find, of course, the maybe formal so-called declared wars are not there. But we find many kinds of wars raging in our societies, in our communities. So that and this war and this kind of conflict within human society take various faces from time to time. They change, they mutate, and it's very difficult. And that's why I would request all of you to be ever vigilant about what is this mutating threat to women coming up, preventing their contribution, preventing their effective opportunities for bringing in peace, so that all of us can develop in the best possible way. So that is what I find is very important to bear in mind. I would say that the United Nations, at least 10th anniversary, has given it a momentum that people now feel that it has to be. It has hit the decision makers at the upper levels in a strong way, but still there is always a tendency to forget. And this is one of the areas that I believe the United Nations should do much more, is to make the senior management of the organization more mindful of what is behind 1325. 1325 articulated what was there all the time. We needed to recognize that women are getting marginalized. They are not being given their role. So this was there for years. 1325 articulated, and the beauty of 1325, if I may call it, or the effectiveness, comes from the fact that it is a Security Council resolution, which all the member states are supposed to accept for implementation. In the Charter of the United Nations, in Article 25, it says so, that all the members who sign, and that is a ratified document in each of the countries which are members of the United Nations. So once you ratify the Charter, it becomes your national law. So it is very important that this Security Council resolution. So we have to also find ways, maybe through media opportunities, maybe through civil society importance, to emphasize that this resolution, or flouting of this resolution, or non-implementing this resolution, is equal to maybe action by Security Council for sanctions. Like if there is a peacekeeping resolution on a country, and if they fail to implement it, the Charter provides an opportunity for sanctions, sometimes military, sometimes economic, trade sanctions. So I should say that, well, we will give maybe some years to fill this way, but we should say that this should be treated as obligatory on the part of member states to implement. And in that context, I believe those of you, and I'm very happy to hear the points of view of Sri Lanka, from the Jaffna experience, from the Philippines, Mindanao experience, from the Balkans, and also as Sharon was elaborating what the Pacific countries are doing, particularly with the Bougainville experience. I believe that at this point of time, if you ask me, I should say national action plan for each country is the most essential element of 1325's implementation. I believe that that is the most important thing. Some people find the national plans have limited opportunities, which to extent I would agree, but I believe that is the best thing. Why I say so? Because I believe that once a decision is taken to prepare a national action plan by the government, it involves the whole country. It goes to the cabinet, sometimes goes to the parliament, it involves all the government ministries, it involves or coordinates all the existing policies regarding women, whether we need something, provides an opportunity for civil society to come in. In some countries, they are part of the preparation of the National Action Plan. In other countries are not. But at the same time, civil society can organize debates, discussion to give an input to the preparation of the National Action Plan. So I believe, and once that is done, once a plan is prepared, once a plan is launched, that becomes the benchmark for implementation of 1325. This is the yardstick for accountability. What you have done so far. This is maybe National Action Plan fell much short of the needed action needed. But still, we can say that at least this much you have not done yet. And then National Action Plans, and this is what civil society should ask for, should have an element of updating every 2 years. This is, and if possible, a built-in mechanism or reporting mechanism, and an annual opportunity for the whole country to come together to discuss where we are. So these are the things that we need to build in every National Action Plan. And a National Action Plan, I believe, should be what they call the revolving plan, that it will go on updating itself as you move on. So that is why I believe, and then the document is available to the United Nations, available to all regional organizations, available to everybody, to each other, and these days of communication available worldwide. So that is another wonderful thing that National Action Plan can bring to us. So this is what I believe the United Nations should encourage, and this is what I have been the doable fast track indicators that I prepared last year for the 10th anniversary mentions that each of the UN resident coordinators, and in this case I have only developing countries in mind, there is a resident coordinator for each of the, most of the countries of the developing countries of the world, and they should be instructed by the Secretary General to say, get engaged with the country concerned to prepare their national action plan. Give them whatever support, technical, resource-wise, political support from the UN is necessary. Do that. And I believe that that is very, very important. And they should also encourage the government to collaborate with civil society, to say, bring in the civil society, make the consultations, as much consultations as necessary to build a real plan. Another thing I believe can be done is United Nations they have the regional commissions, like for the Asia Pacific, the commission in Bangkok, for Africa, and commission in Addis Ababa. I believe that these regional bodies also should encourage some kind of regional action plan. Only region that has done is the Asia Pacific region, and Sharon was briefing me this morning how this was being done. And I believe that the value of the regional action plan is that where at the country level you are dragging your foot, you can bring a sort of regional consensus, because then you can say, well, it is not our national plan, it is regional action plan. But once you adopt a regional action plan, like in South Asian region, some countries are foot dragging, so with that, and I say Vandana here from Nepal, and congratulations on a wonderful consultative national action plan. I believe that after that regional plan is endorsed at the summit level, we can always go to the countries, but this much you have agreed. So why don't you take up that and turn into a national plan? What you have regionally agreed, how much of it is nationally valid? And then add your national dimension and make it to a national plan. So the principles are laid out in the regional plan without committing any country in that way. So this is, I mean, I'm not saying this in a devious way. I'm saying this, that this provides an opportunity for those foot draggers to come on board, to see that, because these days I hear it from time to time that many countries say, well, 1325 is only for the countries in conflict or countries coming out of conflict. It doesn't involve us. So we are not supposed to do it. That's absolutely wrong. And what is a conflict? That is I have problem with saying that no country is, or any one country is without conflict. We have conflicts of different nature, which involves the population of that country, particularly women. And so we have to say that it is applicable to everybody. It is a must for everybody. I would say that while the governments are slow, the governments are taking their time, it is important for civil society to continue their good work, continue their advocacy, and continue their ability to mobilize people. I think that is very important. And remember that peace is a very comprehensive. So when we talk about women and peace and security, it covers all aspects of our life. And it is very important. That's why in your efforts in civil society, make coalition building an opportunity for all of you for 1325. Build coalition. If you are working for peace, we are with you. If you are working for human rights, we are with you. If you are working for development and human security, we are with you. So that is a big opportunity for 1325. And in the same vein, try to be inclusive. Don't say that they have no role in 1325. I don't believe it. And that was the spirit which I had in March 2000 when, as Security Council President, we adopted a statement which really is the foundational statement for 1325. It emphasizes that equality between women and men is interlinked very closely with peace and security. So that is the basic point. And so it is the equality that we have to emphasize. And then another phrase in 1325 is very crucial: equal participation at all decision-making levels. That is very important, and that we have to emphasize in our work. Let me conclude by what I said the other day, that do not forget the role of peace education when you make your effort for 1325, because 1325 also will be implemented sustainably, if I may call it, only when peace education is also moving with it at the same time. So it is very important that peace education is always mentioned, included in the National Action Plan in your area of activity, and that is absolutely important. So I should stop here. If there are any questions and comments, I would very much like to hear that.
Thank you.